Are you an adult child caring for an aging parent and you're wondering what is going to happen next? You seem to have reached this period of calm and peace and quiet where everything seems to be going okay, but as a caregiver, you know that that probably isn't going to stay that way. I'm going to share the common crashes, the areas of common disagreement between aging parents and adult children to hopefully help you have more periods of calm and fewer crashes. I'm Pamela Wilson. I solve caregiving problems. For the past 20 years, I have helped caregivers and aging parents in all kinds of situations. I offer support groups and programs to help caregivers manage decision-making, care for aging parents, and more importantly, to relieve all of the stress, anxiety, overwhelm, sleepless nights that come along with caregiving. Welcome to my mountain home and to my fireplace. I live in Colorado and it's a little chilly today. It's about 20 degrees outside, so it's much nicer inside. Number one crash for aging parents and adult children is talking about driving. Your older parent may have memory loss, or they may have quite a few health conditions which can make driving difficult and risky. They'll say to you, "Oh, I am not going to get hurt." But what they don't think about is who they might hurt. That's what most older adults don't think about. They don't think about who might sue them because they have an accident. So for you to have this conversation, think back to when you were 16 or 18 and you wanted that driving permit or you wanted your driver's license. Trust me, your parents were concerned. They were concerned about the car being wrecked and their insurance rates, just like you're concerned about that for them today. But you wanted that car because it gave you the sense of freedom. Your parents wouldn't have to drive you around anymore. Your parents feel the same way. Your aging parents don't want to have to be dependent on you to drive them around or somebody else to drive them around. And giving up that car gives up their freedom. So those are talking points when you have that conversation. The second crash is money. Whether your parents have a lot of money, whether they don't, they might not want to talk to you about money. They might want to keep that a secret, and that's their right. But it's important to just talk about costs of care, even if they don't want to divulge how much money they have, or if they have long-term care insurance or plan to move to a care community. Care is expensive. You know, in-home care ranges $20, $30 an hour. Care communities, thousands of dollars, $5,000 to $10,000. And so it's just important to bring up that conversation just in case they are willing to talk to you about money and care. We'll talk about care in a minute. The number three crash is parent safety in the home, and this has become so much easier these days with all of the home safety equipment. There usually are stores in town where you live. If not, there are great online sites for things like raised toilet seats, walkers, items to help people put on socks, safety equipment for the bathroom. When talking about this, what you want to talk about is say, "Hey, Mom and Dad, it's important. We want to keep you home because I can tell you your parents don't want to leave their house." So start with a positive, saying, "We want to keep you home. You know, I think you might need a double railing on the steps or maybe some other home safety equipment. Are you interested?" They might balk, and then you can kind of talk about one of the things that I talk about is a lot, which is falls, fractures, and death. Hip fractures, which normally happen in the home from just you turn and you fall, break a hip. Remember these numbers, 13, 23, and 30. Hip fractures have high mortality rates. Many adults can't even return home. They have to go to a care community. But the stats on death are, so older adults living in their home, 13% pass away within a year. If your parent lives in an assisted living community, it's 23%. 23% pass away in a year. And if your parent has dementia or lives in a nursing home, mortality rate is 30%. Home safety, looking at home safety is so important. It will help keep your parents at home as long as possible, and that's their wish. So hopefully that will alleviate that argument. Imagine this one. So the next one is health concerns and medical concerns. and parents not going to doctor appointments, not taking medications, not telling the kids what's going on about health. But so imagine this situation. Your father has lung cancer, and he's going through chemotherapy and radiation, and he's still smoking. So looking at this from a bigger picture, should we be angry at your father for accepting medical care and still smoking? Is that wasting healthcare dollars? Is it futile because he may die anyway? Many times with healthcare situations, these type of issues come up and they get very emotional. You know, nobody thinks about the stress that your dad with lung cancer may experience because he could be dying, which is why he's still smoking cigarettes. But healthcare brings up this whole area of the unknown and judgments and unexpected, and there's good doctors and there are doctors who shouldn't be taking care of older people. I will tell you that. So that's a point of disagreement for aging parents and adult children. Last one is really talking about care. Your parents may want to talk about care. They may have brought it up. You as the adult child may have put the blinders on and said, I don't want to talk about it. Or vice versa. Both of you have tried to talk about it and have been just unsuccessful. It's important to talk about what your parents want for care. It's important to talk about whether they have their legal documents done, powers of attorney. Be persistent. Don't give up. This is one area, if you learn one thing from this video today, and you see that your aging parents are needing care, or even before they need care, talk about care. Talk about what they would want for their care, staying home, moving to a care community, if they expect you to be the caregiver, if you can even be the caregiver. There's so many discussion points about care that are somehow missed until an emergency happens, and then you become an overnight caregiver, like you probably already are, and the situation just gets worse. Talk about care. In the 20 years that I've been doing this, most of my involvement has been because of accidents, emergencies, unplanned things. And that's because caregivers can provide basic care, but once things become complicated, it's hard to know what to do and how to work through the system. And that is how I help caregivers. That's my value to you and to your aging parents. You don't want to become in a situation where you have a lot of crashes or crises or unexpected things. It's way too stressful, way too stressful. You want to be in a position where things are manageable, stable, avoiding crashes. You're less anxious, less worried, and your parents are too. I'm Pamela Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. I help caregivers solve problems. I also offer a roadmap to help caregivers make decisions with aging parents, to ask the right questions, to avoid all the stresses of caregiving. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate a like, a love. Give me your #1 caregiving concern, share it as a comment, and please share this video with others. There are so many caregivers looking for help and assistance. I'm Pamela Wilson. I'll see you in the next video.